Great costume, kid. My son didn't want to be a tiger or a superhero. He wanted to be a traffic light. Some little white girl, between 8 and 10, in Starbucks, just looked up at me and said, "Whoa, a beautiful chocolate man." And her dad literally grabbed her arm and said, "Emily, what the duck is the matter with you?" My 11-year-old nephew gets a 60 night hit combo in the shooter we are playing. Nephew. Hey, 60 night, nice. Me. Nephew. Explaining to me, like I'm an 8-jot, the number 60 night is a meme. And nobody knows why. My 10-year-old neighbor just threw a cup of water over my cat, who was sitting on the fence minding his own business, and laughed. So I threw a basin of water over him from the window, and now his dad is at my door going mental, but I don't see the problem. Don't touch my cat. Told my kids I couldn't find the heat cocoa powder, to which my 4-year-old said, "Maybe someone took it and hid it behind my bed," which is a suspiciously specific theory. Woman in my train carriage smoothly telling the conductor that her son is traveling free because he's only 4, while the kid repeatedly yells, "But I'm not 4." Told my kids they were allowed to hit each other once per day, so they should really think it through and not waste their one hit, and now they're calmly discussing when might be the best time to hit each other, but the actual hitting has stopped. I'm a genius. There's a kid on my nephew's soccer team that thinks he's a dinosaur, so he's just out there screeching and biting other kids on the field. I love my nephew, but I'm only here to watch Veloci run. When my brother was like 9, he said get the F***G instead of get the flag on Roblox, so they banned him, and he cried so hard he threw up on the carpet. I have one intelligent child who is designing a parachute, and, putting this as politely as I can, I have another child willing to try the parachute. Lifeguard at the lake. Everyone please exit the water. We're looking for a 5-year-old boy in blue shorts named Titus. Little boy standing next to me in blue shorts. Hey, my name's Titus too. My toddler ran out of waffles in her pretend restaurant this morning, right after she served everyone besides me, and that's about the biggest duck you she's ever given. My son found me crying in the kitchen, wrapped his arms around me and whispered, "Is it because of your hair?" Now I'm crying for 2 reasons. What's the dumbest thing you believed as a child? When I was a preschooler, my mom told me that you weren't allowed to ride a motorcycle or get tattoos unless your mother was dead. One day, outside the grocery store, I saw a big, tough-looking dude covered in tats, straddling the loudest motorcycle ever. Damned it, 5-year-old me didn't go up to him and ask, "Hey, is your mom dead?" Dude looked at me and said, "Yeah." And I was shocked that my mom was right. Before I had kids, I thought I had a great immune system, but it turns out I was just really good at staying away from the type of people who sneeze directly into your eyeballs while telling you a story. My son just told me that he loves the new toy trucks they got at daycare. They are his toy trucks. We donated them because he refused to play with them. My 3-year-old said she wished we had a pet. I reminded her we have a dog, and wow, the genuine surprise on her face as it dawned on her that our dog is a pet and not just some other guy who lives here. A kid in the Dallas airport tapped me on the leg while we waited in a line, then whispered, "Hey, guess what? My dad's jet ski sank in a lake and we never saw him again." Kid's mom, stop telling people that. Kid in my son's class explained to me that she was sure he has 2 moms because he has the pretty mom and the other mom. She described each to me in great detail. Reader, both are me. 6-year-old, to her crying brother, "It's okay to be sad. Sometimes we need to let our feelings out. Just let yourself be sad." Me, "Oh darling, that's so lovely. Well done. Why is he crying?" 6-year-old, I hit him. 5-year-old, "I have a Mother's Day gift for you." Me, "Awesome, buddy. Don't tell me what it is though, okay?" 5-year-old, "I won't. It's a magnet." Me, "Okay bud, see, you just told me what it was." 5-year-old, "But I didn't tell you about the picture on it." Me, "You're right. I can't wait." 5-year-old, "It's a picture of me. I just smoked an 8-pound pork bet for 9 hours because my kids said they'd eat pulled pork. 5 minutes before it was done, They all said they wanted heat dogs instead, and if that doesn't sum up parenting, I don't know what does. Parents need to get better at teaching their kids that swear words aren't actually bad, they're just only appropriate in certain contexts. This 9-year-old girl at the grocery store just held up a bag of cauliflower rice and said, "What the duck is this? And she deserves a ducking Oscar." I explained to my daughter that when Netflix started, they used to send you DVDs. 6-year-old, old lady voice, you know, back in my day, the internet used to come in the mail. There's sibling rivalry, then there's my 4-year-old daughter faking a phone call from her 1-year-old brother's nursery to tell us that we don't have to collect him today because he's going to live there now and he won't even miss us. Was on the bus the other day and 2 kids about 10 were in front of me. One of them said that his parents won't let him get a dog, so he used to stare at the sun to try make himself blind so he could get a guide dog. No doubt he was waffling, but you have to admire his imagination. My kid does not eat eggs. This has been established for years, but she picked out a bluey cookbook at her book fair. It has her omelette recipe. So she made an omelette, and she is sitting here eating it because it's a bluey omelette. I think I was 7. I was misbehaving at dinner, so my parents sent me to my room. I was dramatic as duck and cried out my window to the whole neighborhood. Then the window screen broke and I fell 2 stories. I got up and rang the doorbell to tell my parents I fell out the window. Before I knew what a live studio audience was, I thought that the people you hear laughing while watching TV were people in their houses. I would sit very close to the TV and laugh ignorantly loud so they could hear me too. One time when I was like 11, my dad took me to an Italian restaurant and the waiter asked what my name was and I said, "Sam, but you can call me Captain Ravioli," and my dad just looked at me and said, "What the duck was that? Don't do that," and I've been chasing that high ever since. My 3-year-old, who doesn't notice her pants are inside out or that her shoes are on the wrong feet, can spot a diced onion in her food from 3 feet away. Toddler, "Daddy, I want toast." Me, "Okay, buddy, here's some toast." Toddler, "I don't like butter on my toast." Me, flips toast over to the dry side and hands it back. "There ya go." Toddler, "Thanks, daddy." "Ah, mom," said my 6-year-old, "look at your child." So I looked, and there, sitting cross-legged in a miniature lawn chair, was my 2-year-old drinking A1 sauce straight out of the bottle. Me, "What's wrong?" 8-year-old, "I have to write a whole paragraph for school." Me, "That's no so bad. I write entire books." 8, "Yeah, but this has to be good." Cried when I was 5 because my sister was pregnant. They told me I was going to be an aunt, and I heard aunt and freaked the duck out. 2-year-old eating his lunch. "Papa's coffee heat." Me, "Yeah baby, it's heat. Don't touch." 2-year-old, "Me blow on it for papa." It was at this point I witnessed with horror my 2-year-old attempt to blow on my freshly made coffee, only to spit a half-eaten chicken nugget straight into it. Motherhood is just marketing. My toddler hates fish but loves chicken. So last night, for dinner, I told him the salmon was beach chicken. He cheered, "Yay, beach chicken," and ate the whole thing. It's not lying, it's rebranding. Know your customer. I volunteer at my kid's school and a kindergartner told me my mom used to have 2 beds, but now she just has 1. I didn't know how to be like, "Tell me more about your mom's bed," without getting kicked off campus. It haunts me to this day that I don't have more details. When I was 5 years old, I was very sick. The Make-A-Wish Foundation offered my family a wish. A small group of people approached my mom and I at the hospital. I, being painfully shy, hid behind my mom's leg. They asked me, "If you could have anything, or go anywhere, or meet anyone, what would it be?" My mom leaned down so I could whisper in her ear, "A Barbie doll." My mom stood up and told them she wants to go to Disney World. The Make-A-Wish Foundation paid for me, my 6 siblings, my aunt and uncle, and my grandparents to spend 3 days in Disney World. I did not get a Barbie doll. Great, my 3-year-old saw me pull a tampon out, and now she's going around saying mommy had a mouse in her bed. Having been told that it's rude to call dinner gross, our 4-year-old is finding increasingly creative ways to express himself. This tastes unlucky to me. This sends my mouth into outer space. That's bad. Cauliflower is pinches lingers together. This much delicious. My 8-year-old got his expander and braces taken off, and he's supposed to wear a retainer at night. He lost the retainer by day 3, and I told him to find it, because I'd rather not pay for another one. He looked startled and said, "We pay for this stuff?" My 3-year-old calls Flonase Mommy's special nose medicine, and now my neighbor thinks I'd to cook when. Today, the 8-year-old told me she deliberately spelled a word wrong in the last round of the school spelling bee, because if you lose you get a piece of candy, but if you win you just get a boring medal. My 10-year-old helped make dinner, and my 5-year-old said it looked gross. The 10-year-old got all offended and told her she had to try it, and the 5-year-old stared crying and gagging. Now they are both crying. It's like I watched a low-budget production of my real life acted out by my children. I had to walk behind my teenager during his Zoom class in order to go to the bathroom, and now his peers know that he has parents that he lives with. He's obviously very upset. Please send him your thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. Paid $75 to take the family to the zoo, so my toddler could and are over a caterpillar in the parking lot. Nephew has been doing a bit where when he gets on elevators with adults in an attempt to fit in, he'll say I didn't get the promotion. In science class today, the students learned that buffaloes don't have wings. They thought that's what they'd been eating. Shut up right now. They were truly upset. I had to sit down. Told my stepson to clean his room and walked in on him recording a diss track about me called "You Not My Real Daddy." 6-year-old. Do dragons dart fire? Me, I don't know. 6. I thought you went to college. Watching a documentary on ancient Egypt when my 5-year-old stops in front of the TV, drops her jaw and says, "They wrote on walls. You're not supposed to write on walls." Took my daughter to Disneyland, and after spending an exhausting day doing rides and gift shops, we asked her what her favorite part was and she said, "The bus was pretty cool. The bus ride to get into the park. That was her favorite." For someone I've had to physically restrain from eating dog shit, my son is awfully particular about which grapes he's going to eat. Once when I was 9, my teacher told me to write the most beautiful love story I could imagine, and I wrote a story about a shark and a horse who fell in love, and the horse jumped into the sea to be with the shark, but it drowned and died, and the shark was so sad that it also died. The teacher called my parents. My son named a piece of birthday cake Kaki, then got too attached to it to eat it. We saved it for him, and he decided to eat it the next day because he didn't want it to get old. He cried the whole time saying "I'm sorry Kaki" between bites. My 8-year-old daughter met a girl at summer camp last year named Internet. I said no way, that can't be her name, but my daughter has been adamant. For almost a year we've been having this discussion. And Toynet. I just found out her name isn't Toynet. How to lose at hide and seek. Me, eyes closed. 1, 2, 3. 4-year-old. Whispers, "Daddy, can I hide in your shirt?" I'll play this with my 5-year-old niece sometimes, and I'll pretend I don't immediately know where she is, because I'm not an asshole, but if I do that for more than 10 seconds, she'll scream "I'm here," and then get surprised whenever I find her after she screams that. I picked my nephew up from daycare today, mind you, he's biracial but looks like a white kid. They asked him if he knew who I was, and why did this man look me dead in my face and say he didn't know me. Had them people ready to call the cops on me. 4-year-old daughter is crying her eyes out. Me, what's wrong? Tutu? 4-year-old, moving her hands on the sofa. If my lingers were markers, they would ruin the sofa. Me, but your lingers are not markers? 4-year-old, peak distress. I said if Giving my classroom glue sticks human names has been revolutionary. Does a student care if a glue stick goes missing? No. Do they care if Derek the glue stick has not been returned? Absolutely. It's like a manhunt until Derek has been returned to his rightful spot. People coming over. Me. Tidies up. Husband fires up the barbecue. Toddler removes all clothing. Bought a Costco sheet cake because I figured we could use some cheer around here. Toddler completely freaked out, demanding to know whose birthday it was. I explained you can just buy a cake when you want, if you're grown up, etc. Long back and forth. Eventually agreed it's my birthday. A little girl and her mom were looking at me at the coffee shop this morning, and I heard her mom say, "Go on, it's okay." And the little girl shuffled up to me and said, "Excuse me please, do you have to put on your tattoos by yourself every day, or does your mom help you? I'm dying." I was in a very bad mood today. Then my 3-year-old walked over, handed me a rock, patted my face and said, "Mommy, you're perfect. Here's a present for you." And I smiled. And then I realized the rock was a cat turd. Overheard in the men's room. Father and 4-year-old in separate stalls. Dad, don't take off all your clothes. Son, okay. Dad, tell me when you are done. Son, are you taking off all of your clothes, Dad? Dad, no, nobody does that. Son, I do that. Dad, I know. That is why I'm telling you not to do that. Son, okay. Dad, are you done? Son, yeah. Dad, come out then. Son, I have to put my clothes back on. Dad, god damn it. I just remembered that when I got my first dog, I was 7, and he was 1. 7 in dog years, and I cried when he turned 2, because I didn't think a 14-year-old dog would wanna hang out with me. My daughter met Peep and P at the city wastewater treatment exhibit, and cried when we had to leave them. Your kids are going to do things they shouldn't. It helps if you married someone with a sense of humor. 5-year-old, Daddy, did you play Roblox as a kid? 8-year-old, interrupting. He didn't have Roblox when he was kid. He would just play outside. Both start laughing. My 11-year-old just screamed across the skate park, "Mom, did you ever get our health insurance reinstated? I wanna do a trick." I'm selling my son's Switch. I made him a deal to quit peeping in the shower. Apparently he cannot do that and thinks it funny when I step on his steamers in the morning. So the Switch is going. It all works and will demonstrate upon arrival. Comes with Animal Crossing, Mega Man X, Super Smash Bros, Breath of the Wild. It's not the Lite, it's the full-sized one. I know I'm taking a loss with the money I spent on this darn thing, but stepping on a cornback rattler in the shower each morning is really upsetting me and gross. Cash only. I told my 3-year-old Elliot I saw a deer in our yard, and he goes, "I'll tell the other Elliots," and I laughed. Then later he explained he said that because in an episode of Thomas a diesel train named Diesel said, "I'll tell the other Diesels," which is smart, but also how confusing must it be to be 3. Kid orders odd sandwich that would require several modifications on the touchscreen menu. He refused to let me help him order his food because he's a big boy. Now his ace sitting in the back mad as hell with his egg on a heat dog bun with jalapenos and bulk olives for breakfast. You gon' learn today. When I'm 35, I'll be married to Courtney, and I'll be an actor or a singer or a brain surgeon. I'll have 35 kids, and each one will have a limo. I'll live in Beverly Hills. I drive a limo, Corvette convertible, Lamborghini, Ferrari, and a Porsche all mixed together. Courtney and I will buy Bermuda and the rainforests. Every summer, I will go to those places. Son, brushing teeth. Daddy, why don't we have to brush our other bones? Me, because they are inside of us, and don't need it like your teeth do. Son, I want to brush my bones. Me. Son, I want to brush my bones. Dad, me, please stop saying that. Kids are the best, man. They get all shocked when you figure out they did something wrong, like, "Mom, how do you know I colored on the table?" Because you wrote your ducking name on it. My 3-year-old told me that when she was in my belly, she had toys to play with, and the toys are still in there. So that's terrible news. When I was a kid, I thought only smart people wore glasses. I told my parents I had trouble seeing, so they took me to the eye doctor, and I pretended to have poor vision. I ended up wearing glasses. I couldn't see out of for a month before I finally confessed. I was a total dumbass. Apparently my 9-year-old nephew wanted permission to make a Facebook account, and my sister was like, no, you're 9. And then he figured out how to make one behind her back and got caught immediately when he sent her a friend request. My oldest just threw up at school, so I went to pick him up, and on the car ride home, he threw up some more. I had him take a bath while I cleaned out the truck. It smelled like Doritos, which I discovered is why he's homesick. His friends had a chip eating contest at lunch. He won. My 3-year-old was singing about dinosaurs loudly at the grocery store, and I told her I loved her singing, but asked her to please use her inside voice. She randomly came out with, "I'm sorry mommy. Please don't lock me in the closet." And a whole bunch of people turned to look at me. I've never once locked her in a closet. There's no room in our closet, even if I wanted to. Up until like age 8, I used to think that everybody and everything in the world stopped until I was in the area. I deadass thought there was literally no movement at all until I came on the scene. I don't know why. My toddler just saw newborn pics of himself with his clamped umbilical cord and is now convinced he had a second penis that we chopped off. My 3-year-old asked what my favorite animal is, and when I said penguin she yelled, "No it isn't," and then she yelled at me until I agreed that my favorite animal was a bat, and I don't like bats or 3-year-olds. My 4-year-old son walking into my office. "Are you still working?" "Yeah, but how many more buttons do you have to press?"